From Sacred Heart University in Fairfield, Connecticut, this is The Pulse.
Hello, and welcome to The Pulse. I am Daisha Bent.
And I'm Catherine Andes. There's a new proposal for the north end of Bridgeport that could have a big effect on the Sacred Heart students. The proposal involves limiting the amount of students living in a household. The fear is that this will increase rent and restrict where students live throughout Bridgeport. More with the story is Rachel Kadagian.
On Thursday, October 23rd, residents of the North End were invited to a town meeting located at John Winthrop Elementary School. Held in the gymnasium, the meeting gave the residents an opportunity to speak about their well-being as homeowners who live in such close proximity to Sacred Heart University. Mayor Joe Ganem and representatives of the district began the meeting by introducing themselves.
It's not used for political purposes. It's used.
Good evening, I'm Amy Marie Bizzo-Penicia, represent the 134th District, which is part of the John Winthrop School, down to about Savoy, Westfield Avenue, up to the Trumbull line. So I want to welcome you here tonight to hear all of your concerns, your complaints, and any type of suggestions that we can try to rectify with the administration.
Residents were quick to line up and to voice their opinion.
Hi, everybody. Hi.
Street crossing over Park Avenue, and at the green light, and out of the corner of my eye, I see a Jeep Rubicon coming, slammed into me, sent me and my daughter a block away. Take her to the hospital. I have a broken leg. I still have a dislocated collarbone. My wrists are shot. That night when I got home from the hospital, the worst pain I was ever in, and I tried to sleep, and all of a sudden I hear laughing, car doors slamming.
However, student Carlos Ruiz was quick to defend himself and his fellow peers.
Many of you guys have been affected by the people that I go to school with. But what I can say for me, I'm a very respectful student, and I can see that your concern is very true. But for me, I am a student that works very hard and pays my way to college, pays my way, and I welcome myself as a neighbor and as a resident.
North End residents wanted answers from their representatives about this issue.
You're looking for a solution, you got it in your hands. Do it. And by the way, it took you too long to get into solving this problem. It's been around for 3 or 4 years. Where were you?
Whether regulations will be put in place against the students is unclear. However, it is clear they're not going to let that happen easily.
It's your own personal choice.
This semester, there is a new campaign on campus to increase student voter registration. It is called Pioneer Vote. Catherine, you spoke with students to see how they can get involved politically.
I did, Daisha. Let's take a look. Pioneer Vote is a campaign on campus to register students to vote and encourage student voting. We asked SHU students what their opinions were on student voting and if they knew what Pioneer Vote is.
Where students vote, maybe?
No.
I've seen some of the signs for it, yeah. No.
Yeah, I actually went to their first little meeting thing and signed up to vote.
So the mission of Pioneer Vote is to get students registered and to be able to educate them on the issues that are going on currently in our state, local as well as federal elections, and be able to have them use their voice in politics.
Currently, only 31% of students turned out to vote in the 2018 midterms. Pioneer Vote is working to increase those numbers in 2019. Do you plan to vote? Why or why not?
Yes, that I can have a say.
Yeah, I feel as though everybody's vote matters, so I feel like I have a choice in that.
I think voting is important because everyone gets a chance to express their beliefs, express their opinions on things. It really does give everyone a chance to have their voice heard and get their opinions out there and really enact and create change in this world, you know?
Well, one, it's our civic duty. If we're not voting, then we can't really complain about the issues that are going on. And me and Meredith, we truly full-heartedly believe that if there are issues that are a concern, or if we are have certain opinions on what's currently going on, but people aren't voting, or people don't take the time to register, to do the first steps, or to do any of that, then you really can't complain about the issues that we face.
So do you plan to vote in the next election? Why or why not?
Yes, because I'm going to be of age to do it. And yes, it's my first election bill to vote for.
I haven't registered yet because I turned 18 when I came to campus.
I am registered to vote in Connecticut because I'm from Connecticut. So on election day, I'm actually going to go home and I'm going to vote in my town because I forgot to file for an absentee ballot.
So I plan on voting in New Hampshire because that's where I'm from, and I feel really strongly towards my state, and I want to see my state go in a positive direction.
Between voting in their hometowns and here in Bridgeport, Sacred Heart students plan to vote this November.
Well, so we want to reach 1,000 students to register. Right now we're at 181 students so far, and that's not counting the registration cards that we've handed out to varsity athletic teams, as well as our Greek life organizations. So we do hope for that, for 1,000 students to be registered, as well as have a more motivated campus to be able to engage politically.
From shoe athletic teams to Greek life, Pioneer Vote is reaching students in every corner of campus.
Up next, we will recap Family Weekend here at SHU. We'll be right back.
Welcome. When you become a Pioneer, you will have 1,048 days from move-in to graduation. How will you use them?
How will you serve? Where will you explore?
How will you lead?
How will you connect?
How will you express yourself?
How will you show your spirit?
What will you make?
You will have 1,048 days. Make them count.
Make them count.
Make them count.
Make them count.
Welcome home.
Welcome home.
Welcome home.
This past weekend at Sacred Heart was truly magical for the annual Family Weekend. Here's Nicole Bot with the rest of the story.
Sacred Heart University celebrated their 29th annual Family Weekend in October this year. There were a lot of activities from Friday through Sunday that allowed families to bond with the SHU community. This year there was a hayride that toured around campus, but the main highlight was the tailgate area. They handed out free hats, had tons of food, and even fun photo opportunities. In case you forgot your SHU gear this year or wanted something a little bit extra, they had everything you needed and more right at the football field. On Sunday, if you were of age, you could enjoy a champagne breakfast and delightful food. Or if you're looking for a quick bite, you could head to JP's where there were specials. Afterwards, why not take a quick trip to the Bobby V's Athletic Center? There is a golf simulator that features different courses and an indoor rock climbing wall. There were time slots all weekend to get families acquainted with the new facility and to see how amazing it truly is. But just in case you're a little bit hesitant, the staff goes over rules and regulations because they want to get you as comfortable as possible and ensure safety first. Also, you could take home a piece of this moment with you from the fun photos and videos that were taken during this program. There are 4 different paths to choose from, but they're all relatively the same. You can go as slow as you please if it's your first time, or if you're feeling a bit more advanced, you can go faster. This is a fun activity to do with the whole family. You don't have to climb all the way up, so whenever you're ready, you just pull the cord and it releases you nice and slowly to the ground. In Fairfield, Connecticut with the Pulse, this is Nicole Bot signing off, and remember.
Hey, Catherine, how was family weekend?
It was good. I sang in the choir on Sunday and my parents came up to see me.
Okay, and did everyone enjoy their time?
They did.
It has been over 2 months since the Bobby Valentine Health and Recreation Center had its grand opening. Now let's take a look at the impact to see what it's made for the students. Gina D'Amico, Kristen Burnell, and Erica Condon have the story.
On August 27th, the Bobby Valentine Health and Recreation Center had its official grand opening.
1, 2, 3, we did it! Yeah!
After almost 2 months of being open, students and faculty are getting accustomed to the new facility.
I think that it's not just a gym, it's a recreation center. It's a place where kids can go upstairs, get a smoothie, an acai bowl, hang out, do homework, but at the same time you get a group of friends and play basketball. $5 as a whole group of people for an hour to bowl. It's just a great way to come and hang out with people, but at the same time get your daily exercising, get that heart rate going, and just kind of distract yourself from your normal everyday, classes and homework and stuff like that. It's one of my favorite things to do at the end of the day, just get here, get my workout in, and feel good.
From the start of construction, the future of the Bobby Valentine Center looked bright.
Once the equipment got in and the windows were clean and the lights were on, and the views of both the softball field and the vista and the football field and the university, it was just so spectacular, and it's so bright. It's a place to kind of hang and live and enjoy.
The facility features many new additions, such as a suspended track, a rock climbing wall, an HD golf simulator, and a bowling alley.
Not only, like I said, does it have this amazing equipment and all this brand new equipment that we can use to our advantage, but also just the fact that you can rock climb. What school can rock climb,
The inspiration behind the Bobby Valentine Center stemmed from the overcrowded facility in the Pitt Center.
When I first got here about 6 years ago, the president said, the building that you're going to be over in the Pitt Center is overrun with students. We need to separate out the Division I athletes and the rest of the student body. And I said, I think we could do that. Let's build a rec center.
In addition to all of the unique amenities, Robeck's smoothie franchise recently opened.
I think Robeck's is a great addition to the Bobby Valentine building. I think it's a great way for students to stay healthy on campus. I know as a worker here, the acai bowls are very popular. The protein shakes are popular. So overall, I think it's just a great addition and really cool that Sacred Heart students have this in a facility that they work out in.
Not only has the Bobby V Center served students, it has also benefited university employees.
It's been really good. I think it's been positive for everybody. We just have more space in general. There's more storage space, more court space. For everybody, there's just more opportunities, new opportunities. So, and even for me in particular, just having our own dedicated space means a lot to the program and to really all the students we work with too.
The expansion of campus does not stop with the Bobby V Center.
Well, we have a lot of facilities that are in the plans for Sacred Heart to enhance our athletic environment, a hockey rink, a natatorium, a field hockey field, and tennis courts are all in the plans. We're hoping to turn this little space here into a throws area for our track and field team so they could throw the discus and the shot put and the hammer and the javelin and have the student body looking right out the window when they're on their bikes and checking it out. I think that'd be fun.
Gina D'Amico for The Pulse, Fairfield, Connecticut.
Daisha, have you been to the new Bobby Valentine Center yet?
I have not. I'm just too scared about the rock wall. I'm scared of heights.
Don't worry about it. They have supervision there the whole time. You'll be safe.
Okay, I'll try going.
When we come back, an important look at Epilepsy Awareness Month.
wanted to be compassionate and caring because I'm junior and a nursing major, so it's all about helping people.
I wrote down, make people the best version of themselves. Find out who we are, what we stand for, and to become very good at that and have true conviction in life. And that's it.
This campus gives everyone an opportunity to find their major, find their passion in life, and just to make a difference in the world and to prosper and use that knowledge.
Everyone can use a little more love in their life, whether we know them or not.
Last year, we brought you the story of former women's swim team member Brianna Cielo and her personal commitment to raise awareness about epilepsy. Since November is Epilepsy Awareness Month, we thought it would be appropriate to bring you this story to you again. Olivia Middleman is the reporter.
As November rolls around, most are watching the last few leaves change colors and preparing for a Thanksgiving feast. But for one Sacred Heart student athlete, November is about much more than stuffing and turkey.
Surgery and suffer from seizures every day or even multiple times a day.
Brianna Cielo spent most of her life preparing to be on the Sacred Heart women's swimming team. But this year, Brianna will not be swimming competitively. She was diagnosed in August with epilepsy.
So it's important to mention that I had been out the night before. I was pretty dehydrated that morning. I was exhausted. I didn't have a great night of sleep, but I didn't have any suspicion that anything was going to happen. Finally, my roommate and I finally decided that we were going to go to the dining hall. On my way out of my dorm room, my legs gave out. We were in the elevator on the way up to the dining hall. The same thing happened. And when we got up there, I literally said to my roommate, "I'm really thirsty," and grabbed a water. And that's all I remember.
I received a phone call from her mom, told me that she seized and she fainted in Linda's. I just hung up the phone and ran over to Linda's.
So he called me within, I would say, 15-20 minutes, and he said that she was with the paramedics, she was being taken to St. Vincent, and that the paramedics believed it was a seizure.
Shortly after being diagnosed, Brianna realized there wasn't enough knowledge on the disease.
I knew that seizures and epilepsy were related. Honestly, I don't like saying this, but I really didn't know the difference. I didn't know how to react if someone was having one. I didn't understand really what it was because there is not enough awareness. I look back and I get kind of annoyed with myself because I feel like I should have known, but people don't talk about it.
November is Epilepsy Awareness Month. In an effort to raise awareness on campus, the swim team held an epilepsy awareness meet.
It was spearheaded by Bree, definitely backed by the entire team, backed by us.
Brianna's goal was to educate swimmers and their parents about what epilepsy is, the warning signs, and the steps to take when someone is having a seizure.
The type of seizures I had were called tonic-clonic seizures. They're more commonly known, I think, as grand mal seizures. Another type is an absence seizure, which is characterized by someone zoning out. And then there's myoclonic seizures or myoclonic jerks.
According to the Epilepsy Foundation, common warning signs of a seizure include out-of-body experiences, muscle twitches, headaches, and confusion.
Somebody who's having a seizure, a tonic-clonic seizure, falls on their stomach, it could be fatal. So they're on their side, cushion their heads because their heads are going to be moving, their whole body's going to be moving. Then it's back up. Until the paramedics get there, just time it. When they start convulsing until when they stop, it's really important. The doctors need that information. And then after that, the person's going to be extremely disoriented. They're going to wake up. They're not going to understand what happened. The most important thing is to be calm.
The Epilepsy Foundation also said that epilepsy is not rare and can affect anyone. In fact, 1 in 26 people have been diagnosed with epilepsy, and 1 in 10 people will have a seizure in their lifetime. As a result of her seizures, Brianna no longer competitively swims.
I put so much of my life trying to be good at swimming.
It took away the thing that she loved the most.
It was mind-boggling to me that the thing that came so naturally to me was no longer safe
Though epilepsy took Brianna's first love away from her, it gave her a new purpose.
I'm not doing this for me. I'm lucky. The best thing that I can do is try to make sure that other people get it.
For The Pulse, this is Olivia Middleman in Fairfield, Connecticut.
Sacred Heart is nationally recognized for its university engagement in community service. Many surrounding towns in Connecticut also offer community service events that our students attend. Here is Erica Condon reporting on Out of the Darkness, an event in Hamden bringing awareness to suicide prevention.
September was Suicide Awareness Month. However, local communities in Connecticut are still continuing the fight to gain awareness for suicide prevention. Out of the Darkness community walks work with and benefit the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. On October 6th, an Out of the Darkness walk was held in Hamden, Connecticut. Hundreds of volunteers, walkers, supporters, and survivors came out for the cause.
I wanted to really acknowledge the connections that bring everybody here today. Whether you've lost someone to suicide, whether you've been engaged in your own fight, or you're here to support our cause and your family and friends, we are glad that you are here with us today.
At the walk, there were food trucks, vendors, and information tables in support of suicide prevention.
We're proud to let you know that 83 cents of every dollar raised is invested right here in your community.
A bead ceremony took place where supporters would put specifically colored beads around their necks, which represented the ways in which suicide has affected their lives.
Now please turn to the person next to you and exchange your dark blue bead with your neighbor to show that no one is alone.
The American Foundation for Suicide Prevention states on their website that each year suicide claims more lives than war, murder, and natural disasters combined. Yet suicide prevention does not receive anywhere near the funding as other leading causes of death. Out of the Darkness walks have been held in hundreds of cities across the country since 2002, working to raise awareness and funds for those affected by suicide. Erica Condon, for The Pulse, Hamden, Connecticut.
You know, Catherine, it's a great cause to support. We should get involved.
Yeah, let's try and go together next year.
Up next, we will see students' dreams become a reality, and our SHU students showcasing their talents in Shakespeare's Richard III.
Welcome. When you become a pioneer, you will have 1,048 days from move-in to graduation. How will you use them?
How will you serve? Where will you explore?
How will you lead?
How will you connect?
How will you express yourself?
How will you show your spirit?
What will you make?
You will have 1,048 days. Make them count.
Make them count.
Make them count.
Make them count.
Welcome home.
Welcome home.
Welcome home.
Many students dream of creating something that will be left behind even after they graduate. However, rarely does this actually come to fruition. Let's hear from Matthew Sestone as he meets with a few students that have made this dream a reality.
Many students dream about leaving an impact on their school even after they graduate. And for a select few SHU students, this dream has become a reality.
My name is Josh Bellucci. I'm one of the senior captains for the Ultimate Frisbee team. We started this 3 years ago when we were freshmen. A group of us came here and they didn't have a team here, so we decided that we wanted to start one.
My name is Cameron Ward. I've been on the Ultimate Frisbee team for 2 years. I'm a sophomore and this is my second season.
Knowing when we were starting it is that it wasn't just going to be like somebody filling out forms and then you're on the team just as a player. It was literally building it from the ground up. So the first step to that was figuring out how that whole process works with actually getting funding, getting field times, who to talk to in club sports. There was a lot of logistical things that had to happen. And then it kind of hit a point. I studied abroad, which was a huge obstacle that I knew would be coming up with the amount of work that I was trying to do to kind of keep everything together. And in my mind, we had 2 other captains, but my theory and my fear when I left was that this whole thing was just going to fall apart. And I thought it's going to fall apart without me. I'm going to come back and it'll be like starting from scratch. And I was happily proved wrong.
So when we first started, we'd get out there, we'd just toss around, I'd just be running around, not really knowing how the game worked. And then in the later practices, the captains pulled us aside and they're like, hey guys, we're going to try to make this a serious team. We want to get a coach, we want to make it to regionals, we want to make it to sectionals, we want to go all the way to nationals eventually. That's the goal. So the captains like Josh and Evan, they were out there every practice, every scrimmage, grinding out. And it just really inspired me to try my best and to get to that level.
Before leaving Josh, I had one more question to ask him. What does being a leader mean to you?
Being a leader is just looking out for who's on your left and who's on your right. So even if you don't have the role of a captain, even if you haven't been trying to put this together for 4 years, just congratulating someone on a great catch, cheering someone on, giving them constructive feedback, telling someone that they're doing a good job, good work today. That's all leadership principles. So captain is definitely a role that I take seriously. I definitely try to model by example, and I don't take that lightly, and that's constantly on my mind for every practice and every game that we have. But at the end of the day, I want everyone on this team to constantly be feeding into each other in terms of giving each other feedback, like putting in extra effort because the guy on your left is going to put in that effort and vice versa. So that's just kind of something that I want to instill with everyone, and hopefully everyone continues doing that for this year.
In the theater arts program's production of Richard III, There is a New King in Town, and it's not who you might think. Matt Grecki has more details on this upcoming performance.
What? Were you all snarling? Were you snarling all before?
Sacred Heart University's theater arts program is putting on a production of Shakespeare's classic, Richard III, only they're doing it with a little bit of a twist.
Well, our version takes place in the 21st century right now. We thought it was appropriate because of the fact that it's an incredibly political play and we're living in incredibly political times. We're doing it with an all-female cast, which I'm very excited about. I think it adds sort of an exciting energy to it and a slightly different point of view.
I can say for myself and my fellow cast members that it's really empowering to be cast in an all-female show.
Back in Shakespearean times, the casts were entirely male and the men would be playing the female characters. So I think that it's a really interesting dichotomy to see an all-female cast where we're playing male characters as well as female.
My Lord of Gloucester, I have long to borne your blunt upbraidings and your bitter scoffs. By heaven, I will acquaint his majesty of those gross taunts that oft I have endured. I had rather be a country servant maid than a great queen with this condition, to be so baited, scorned, and stormed at. Small joy have I in being...
Putting on a production like this comes with its own unique set of challenges.
Do we have swords in the 21st century? There's a scrivener who copies with a quill and makes a big copy of stuff. How do we translate that? Do we do it as a big file of stuff that he's done in the word processor? We've got to sort of marry modern time to the language of Shakespeare's time and uphold the integrity of the script.
Some challenges we are facing as a cast are just really trying to keep that idea that we are trying to modernize this story at the forefront of our minds while we're rehearsing, while we're learning these lines.
So preparing for a Shakespeare show is a lot different than preparing for a modern play, just because the language of Shakespeare is so antiquated and really difficult to, I guess, dissect at first.
Right? Yeah, and on his knees at meditation, not dallying with a brace of courtesans,
but meditating with two deep divines. Happy were England would this virtuous prince take on his grace the sovereignty thereof.
I think that we have an amazing cast. I think we have a terrific play. I think Shakespeare's stories are always worth telling because I think Shakespeare focuses on the essential humanity of us as people in his characters. And I don't think that ever changes. If people come to it and they don't leave it thinking, wow, that was really, the usual boring Shakespeare, we've done our job.
I salute you with this royal title. Long live King Richard, England's worthy king.
For The Pulse, Matt Krecky, Fairfield, Connecticut.
You can catch this production of Richard III on November 14th, 15th, and 16th at 8 p.m. or November 17th at 3 p.m. in the Edgerton.
Well, that's all for this show. I am Catherine Andes.
And I'm Daisha Ben. For all of us at The Pulse, thanks for joining us.